Hi, and welcome to Success on Fast Forward. Today I have with me, all the way from Tucson, Arizona, Celie Levin. So Celie and I met in November last year at a conference, and Celie's been doing property investment and developments there for quite some time. We can't give her age away; it's a secret. But if you, she's saying no.
I'm good about that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to be 70 in September, and you know what? It sure as hell beats the alternative.
Yeah, exactly. So no, and you've done really well. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got up into property.
How I got into real estate?
Yes.
Okay. So it was a funny story. My son went to the University of Arizona, and after his first year in the dorms, he left it up to 3 girls to get an apartment for the next year. Long story short, the girls didn't get anything, and they were too busy shopping, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he called and said, "Mom, I have to be out of here in a week and come back to Pennsylvania," because that's where we lived at the time. And it turned out that I ended up buying a house that in Arizona.
Yeah.
Because a real estate agent that I bless to this day said, instead of paying for rent, why don't you buy something?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what I did. I bought a house that he lived in. His roommates paid the rent. His my daughter went right after him to the same college. Her roommates paid the rent. And when I sold the property, it paid off both kids' college education. I bought myself a new car.
Oh, very good story then.
Right. And this is from someone that took 5 years to get out of high school and
Yeah.
every math class there was after
Yeah.
8th grade.
Yeah. Well, you've done well. And so from then onwards, did you then purchase other real estate?
Yeah, so we bought well, actually in 2005 I started buying in Arizona, because the prices in Arizona were so much more favorable than Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And we bought a duplex, a triplex, and a quadplex, all on owner finance, which was fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joined the local RIA here, the local RIA group,
Yep.
Real Estate Investors Group. And that's what we did. So every time there was an opportunity, we would purchase. Then, of course, in real estate, it cycles up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's a lot of ugly. So,
yeah.
But then we went into fix and flips.
Yep. And is that what you're doing at the moment?
No, we stopped doing flips about 2 years ago.
Right.
Because we saw the writing on the wall. The prices of the foreclosures were starting to get too high. The spreads were getting thin.
Yeah.
And we just kept our rentals and said, okay, we're going to hold off on fix and flips.
Yeah.
Because that's how people got burned in 2008. They were over leveraged. They couldn't sell them fast enough. People couldn't buy them. So it was that cycle. And we just said, you know what, we're just going to sit back with our rentals and hang out for now. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So right now we're looking for more, we're looking for larger multifamily properties.
Yeah. Yeah. And is there many available at the moment or coming up?
They're available. However, this business as well as I do. Sellers were in the catbird seat these last few years.
Yeah.
And it was like whatever the seller wanted. And we're close to California.
Yep.
California's prices are crazy. So they're taking their money from California and putting it in Tucson properties. So the sellers were basically getting whatever they wanted.
Right.
Well, now investors from all over are getting nervous, and they're not so fast to give.
Yeah.
Over ask what they're asking. They're going, well, wait a minute, if I have to be without rents, because I don't know what they have in New Zealand, but here they have you don't have to pay your rent for anywhere from 3 months to a year, depending on what state you're in.
So how do the owners then get the rent for their properties? They don't.
They don't. However, if it's, let's say it's 3 months here, in 3 months, that tenant has to come up with their 3 months, or they
Okay,
can
so
get
it's on
evicted.
hold as such, yeah.
Right. So they're on hold, but then we're going to see a ton of evictions.
Yeah.
And a lot of landlords don't have the money to keep it going 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be some kind of support for landlords with their mortgage company, but it just depends on who your mortgage company is, who your bank is. And then that can actually ding your credit if you're asking for a forbearance, a deferment, any of that.
Yeah.
So
and that's really important in America, isn't it? That you have to have the right credit rating to get a mortgage. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And we have the same here, but it's done a little bit differently than America. But yeah, New Zealand is they have our Prime Minister has helped people that they can put their mortgage on hold for 6 months. So
right.
Yeah, so they've been able to do that. Obviously, there'll still be interest in things like that. And
of course.
Rent, there's people have to still pay their rent. And a couple of investors that I've been speaking to, majority of their tenants have been. So yeah, because a lot of the workers, especially businesses and self-employed people, have been given an allowance as well for them and staff. So we have been pretty well looked after, I must say, which has been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you have a female prime minister, correct?
Yes. No comments. No, well, she's absolutely brilliant. She's absolutely
well, you know what? They have been given kudos to your prime minister, the prime minister of Germany.
Yeah.
And she's doing great with this COVID stuff because she's a scientist.
Yeah.
So, we got to give credit where credit's due.
And we went into lockdown pretty quickly, and our cases, there's only been like 5 or 6 a day, and we've had 9 deaths, I think, which is awful, but that's still limited compared to every other area. Yeah.
Right. And they're hollering to go back here. We're gonna have another influx. And my daughter-in-law works on the front line. She works at a hospital here.
Yeah.
In infectious disease. Yeah. So this is no joke, this virus. They actually sent the grandkids away to her parents in another state so that she couldn't give them the virus.
Yeah. No, my mum and my sister both are nurses as well and work on the front line. So
so you understand that. And real estate is going to be one of the bowling pins that goes down because of it. We don't know how bad it'll be. But as investors, we can also help people if the situation is right and help them, get out of their situation.
Yeah. And as you're saying, opportunities will be available, and that will be the same here in New Zealand as well.
Sure.
So, yeah. So if people were starting out again in real estate and investing, what's some advice that you would give them?
Be very, very careful. Be cautious. There's too many people out there selling programs, and it is not a get rich quick deal with real estate. They make it seem like that. Be very cautious. Mentor with somebody that can show you what they've been doing, the properties they have, the investments they have, the notes they're carrying, so that that they're legit.
Yeah, definitely. As you say, there's a lot of people out there that don't walk the talk, but talk the talk and have not done any of it. Yeah, and
they're not living on their investments. They're living on selling their programs.
Yeah, and I must say there's a lot of that on Facebook and that at the moment. Actually, that was one of the things I was going to speak about as well. Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, I've done this for free my whole life with the new people coming in.
Yeah.
And I just got off a call before you, someone that I've known in the RIA for a very long time, and she said, I have a couple questions for you. I'm happy to help people all the time.
Yeah.
before I went into real estate, I was actually a massage therapist.
Yeah. Oh, I could do with one of those now.
I know. And I owned a wellness center.
Yeah.
Back in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I know the business end of it also.
Yeah.
So especially being my age, I've been around the block
just a couple of times, Celie.
so between my experience as a business owner,
yeah,
and the real estate, and the funny thing is, I don't do the real estate with a spreadsheet. I've never used a computer to calculate it.
Yeah.
Mine is more logic.
Yeah.
So when I would see a property, here's the foreclosure, here's the price, here's what I know I can put into it, and here's what I can sell it for, take off the realtor's fees and closing costs and holding costs. And if there's a spread there, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And people would say to me, well, why do you put it with an agent? I said, because I don't want to do what they do.
Yeah, exactly. And if you've got a good real estate agent, they should be getting you the best price, and that's their skill. Specialize in what you're good at and let the others do, what they're good at. Right. That's what I say. Yeah.
And I know that. I know what I do well. And I don't want to do the other stuff.
Yeah. Now, otherwise you would be an agent, wouldn't you?
I don't want that damn paperwork, girl. I hate paperwork.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, I finally got to the point where I now have a VA that handles all my social media stuff. I'm just launched Instagram. I hate it so far, but
yeah,
I'll get there. I got on a LinkedIn account. So I'm getting the help for what I really need to be on. Things change.
Oh, they change all the time. And there's some things, that I'm still getting my head around with some of the social media, and people said, are you on this? And I'm like, no, do I need to be? And it is. Right. It's just about changing, isn't it, with what's happening. But look, you've done so well. And, as you say, you've learned, obviously. There's been some mistakes in there, I'm hearing. And if you don't learn from your mistakes, you don't grow. And I've done property investment myself, so I definitely know. And as you say, it's great because the things that I have done wrong, I can now help others not to do wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? There was a young gentleman here that took me out to, before we had the COVID thing, he took me out to a lobster dinner. And he said, Celie, you don't realize, he told me his house was going to be paid off in November. I said, George, really? He said, yeah. He said, you know what? You're the one that gave me the advice. He said, I brought you 2 deals and you said, no, don't do that. You're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And when I presented with my house, you said, yes, do that.
Yeah.
He paid his house off in 7 years.
Yeah. And that's the stories that are really good, isn't it? That you can help people. Yeah. I have people that they say, when I'm as a real estate agent and they buy their first investment, and I said, right, 6 months, you'll be buying your second one. We were thinking 2 years. I went, no, if you stick with me, it'll be quicker than that.
Right.
It's just knowing how to leverage. And, I learned that a long time ago. And so it is. It's about learning stuff and then helping others. And as you say, helping people to do that. But I agree totally with getting a mentor, but somebody that has actually done what you're doing. And the other thing that I heard you say is, like, you've got a business background as well. A lot of people, like, if you're going into property investment or developing, it's a business. It's not emotional, it's a business. Right. And there's a few people out there that don't have those skills. So if they don't, outsource those skills, because you can't know everything or be good at everything. So
right, and you can get in trouble real quick.
Yep, especially with taxes and stuff like that. And as you say, if you don't work out what's a good price to pay, what you're going to come out with, and you end up owing money, then it's not a good investment. So
right, knowing your numbers is critical.
Yep,
knowing your numbers, and don't leave it up to somebody else to give you their numbers.
Because
somebody else is going to give you 20,000 and you find out that it's 50 and now you're underwater.
Yeah,
exactly. The comps are critical. Don't tell me it's worth 230 when it's really worth 190.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you really need to get yourself educated and step in the water lightly.
Yeah.
Don't go in head first.
Yeah. No,
and
good, very good advice. Very good advice. So,
yeah.
So hopefully we're going to see you doing some more development soon. We'll hear all about it and know that. So how many properties do you have at the moment, if you don't mind?
Well, we had 11, but we sold them because they were smaller.
Right. Yep.
Now we're, we got the cash and we have the investors and we're looking to jump into bigger deals.
Right.
It's easier to do 100-unit building, apartment building, than do 100 single-family houses and duplexes and that kind of stuff.
No, I agree totally.
We sold the smaller units and we're into the bigger ones now.
Yeah, no, good, and I agree totally with that. I think that's the best way to go, isn't it? Some people like the bigger multi-levels, and I think that's especially if there's more streams of income in that, you buy well, it's a lot better. Yeah.
Right, and then you're dealing with one property manager instead of 100 tenants. There you go. Yeah. That's worth it just right
and
there.
I don't do property management myself in my business. I don't want to do property management. It's not my area of expertise either. I used to, when I had 10 rental properties, I did property manage them, and I can't say it's where I want to go. I hire the experts nowadays. Yeah.
No, because they mostly don't have a concept of time when you get a phone call on, Saturday morning that their air conditioning's went out and it's 115 degrees here. Well, when did that happen? Oh, it happened on Thursday. And you're calling me on Saturday morning?
Yeah.
Good luck finding an AC guy.
Yeah.
In the desert at 115.
Oh, no. So is it warm there at the moment?
Yeah, I think it hit 90 today. They're expecting us to hit triple digits for the first time.
Wow.
We had a pretty cold winter. We were surprised. It lasted a long time. But triple digits this weekend. But
wow. Not sure if I could live there then, but anyway.
We got no choice. This is where the grandkids are, so we would have gone wherever they were. I'm just glad it isn't where it's cold.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, Celie, it's been really awesome having you on board and talking. You're a very great support of mine, and I love talking with you. So thank you. And any last tips for anybody?
Be cautious. Opportunities are coming within the next few months. Be very cautious and put yourself in front of the right people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you.
Oh, like me. There you go. I like that last tip. That was the best one.
Yes.
No. Thank you very much, Celie. And if anyone does,
my pleasure. Anytime.
I know you're available.
Let me know when your book comes out. Let me know when your book comes out.
Yeah, I'm having some difficulty with Amazon at the moment, but I'm hoping it is today. But you will know, trust me. Ebook coming hopefully today.
Okay. All right.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, you take care. Stay safe.